Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And I previewed 6 of the playoff series that we knew. We learned the final two, the 1-8 matchups last night. I'll go over the Eastern Conference one first, as the Miami Heat defeated the Chicago Bulls in the play-in game in order to receive that 8 seed, previously lost to the Hawks, who are now the 7 seed. Definitely looks like a mismatch on paper, although this is the third time in the last 4 seasons these two teams have met in the playoffs. Heat finished 44 and 38, while the Milwaukee Bucks had a 14-game advantage over them, finishing 58 and 24, best record in the NBA this season. DraftKings Sportsbook lists the Milwaukee Bucks as minus 1,000 to win the series. The Heat are plus 650. That's tied for the largest spread of all the 8 series, along with the Boston Celtics, who are minus 1,000 over the Atlanta Hawks. What has the Heat's main problem been this season? As they've arguably been the biggest disappointment in the NBA after they were the number 1 seed in the East last season. Pretty much a similar team from last season, other than losing PJ Tucker. They just couldn't put the ball in the hoop. They finished dead last in scoring. Yes, part of that is because they played at an extremely slow pace, second slowest in the NBA, but still were 25th of 30th in offensive rating, and they were actually outscored on the season. They gave up more point. They gave up more points to their opponents than they scored. So just a huge disappointment of a season. They have to hope that Max Strus can continue to play as well as he did in that Chicago game. Strus, who has really struggled this season, nowhere near as successful as he was in the previous season, scored 31 points last night. Was inserted in the starting lineup. So you got to wonder also if maybe for this series they put Kyle Lowry in the starting lineup. Gabe Vincent has done an admirable job. Kyle Lowry is beginning to show his age, but performed great against the Hawks. Meanwhile, Gabe Vincent went scoreless last night. So you got to wonder if they do that and put Kyle Lowry into the starting lineup. And they need Bam Adebayo definitely to show up. Last season, he had some playoff woes. Yesterday, I think he shot 1 of 9 from the field. He's really got to get up for this series in order for Miami to have any chance, because you know Jimmy Butler will perform. Of course, easier said than done, because the Milwaukee Bucks are an excellent defensive team. We have Brook Lopez, who is one of the Defensive Player of the Year finalists. A lot of people I've seen that predict them to finish as the runner-up to Jaren Jackson Jr. Of course, Giannis is a fabulous defender as well. We also have another all-defensive guy in Drew Holiday. So definitely not going to be easy for a team like the Heat, who have struggled to score in this series. How are you going to stop the Greek Freak? MVP finalist, 2-time MVP, arguably the best player in the league. So they finished 12th in offensive rating this season. The Bucks, which may not seem great, but you got to keep in mind probably their second best scorer, Chris Middleton, only played in 33 games this season, and he's becoming more and more comfortable with the team as he has gotten more game action in. Grayson Allen will start at the 2 guard, a guy who shot nearly 40% from 3. They have Bobby Portis off the bench, one of the 6th Man of the Year finalists. He has played excellent again this season, nearly averaging a double-double. And then more solid bench pieces, Pat Connaughton, Joe Ingles, Javon Carter. You got to figure Jay Crowder might play more of a role in this postseason. So definitely a deep team. Heat not quite as deep. Kevin Love has been, I guess, so-so since joining the Heat. Caleb Martin, who was the starting power forward for much of the season, now comes off the bench. We'll see if the Heat make that switch from Gabe Vincent to Kyle Lowry, where Vincent will come off the bench. Cody Zeller decent backup big man, but there was a reason he remained unsigned for a lot of the season. Can Duncan Robinson shake off the rust and play any factor in this series? Man, one of the worst contracts in the league. Just hasn't been accurate. You know, his specialty has been 3-point shooting, and that hasn't been the case this season. The two teams split in the regular season 2-2, but keep in mind the Heat won the first two games back to back. The first two times the two teams met up. But both Giannis and Chris Middleton were both out for both those games. The Bucks later won the next two matchups. So I am going to say Bucks in 5. Just too much firepower, too much of a defensive wall in the paint in Lopez and the Freak. I don't know if Bam's going to show up, and if he doesn't, a lot of Heat fans may be asking to see if they could get something for him in a trade. You got to wonder if Jimmy Butler's going to want to stay if they get a quick early exit, but I just can't foresee them making it much of a series. I'll give them a game. Jimmy Butler does his thing. Maybe Kyle Lowry has a vintage performance. But in the end, Bucks in 5. But let me know your predictions. Who do you have advancing? How many games? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.